Okay, so if there's one thing no one should be doing is living with their ex. And for some reason, this girl decided to tell me this last minute. And I'll say this, it definitely felt like they were still together, even though they consider themselves exes. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy, but also really bizarre story. Now, this story all takes place back in my grade 12 year. I was graduating high school, and honestly, I was single as a Pringle. As sad as that is to say, honestly, one thing was for sure, was that there was no possible way I was gonna get a high school sweetheart. You know, like the girl you graduate with and still, you know, basically stay together with throughout college. Yeah, definitely wasn't happening to me. So me knowing that I was a little bit desperate, I remember I was scrolling through one time on my social medias and something insane happened where I ended up seeing a girl graduate before me, and she was one of the hottest girls that used to go to my high school. And I remember when I saw her on my feed, I decided to scroll through her page and I saw that she recently became single. Now at this moment, I was really surprised and I'm like, wait, what? There's no possible way, because this girl used to have a boyfriend that was like really close to her. Like they were dating for like 2 years straight, and they were like the ideal high school sweetheart couple when we were back in high school. So for them to break up was really bizarre and super out of the blue. But me knowing that she became single recently and that she's, you know, maybe a year older, but she's more mature than I am, I decided to hit her up. I ended up messaging her saying, yo, how you been? Oh, like, I've been good. What's up? It's been a while, and I just want to see how you've been doing, you know, with everything. Oh, I mean, things are all right. Me and my boyfriend like recently broke up, so, you know, things are kind of weird, but other than that, I mean, I don't know, it's not that bad. At that moment, I decided to talk to her about like, you know, moments we had back in high school, you know, basically reminisce the old days, even though that's basically what my whole channel is about. And then one thing led to another. I remember it got to the point where I ended up asking her, so like, I was just wondering, do you want to like maybe like go catch a movie sometime? Oh, I mean, sure, if you want. Okay, cool. What time do you want me to get you? I don't know. I'll tell you if I'm actually free tomorrow and I'll just message you. Okay. For some reason, her saying that was really odd to me because like, who doesn't know what they're doing tomorrow? Like realistically, if you made plans, then like just tell me. But if not, then like might as well just tell me if you can't make it or can make it. Like why would you make it last minute? Kind of causes stress on, you know, me, but some people just don't understand that. Anyways, going on from there, I remember the next day ends up happening, and the whole time I keep checking my phone to see if like, you know, this girl ended up messaging me saying if I can pull up and basically pick her up to go see a movie. But she didn't answer me until like 30 minutes before the movie time, and she messaged me saying, so I'm actually free if you want to like, you know, come get me. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll be on the way. So at that moment, I took the quickest shower ever, and I drove straight to her place. And no joke, my hair was still soaking wet as I was driving over to her. But when I finally got to her place, she ends up getting inside my car, and me and her started heading towards the movie. We started talking about life and stuff, and that's when I decided to bring up, oh, so like, I'm just curious, back in high school, you had a boyfriend. Whatever actually happened between you guys? Oh, well, long story short, apparently, like, when he was 19, like, he ended up doing, like, a girl that was 14, and, like, I don't know, it was kind of gross. And, like, there's a lot of other things he did, but I don't really want to talk about it. At that moment, when she said that, I was totally disgusted. Like, I'm sorry, if you're 19 going for anything below 18, please call the police. Like, you are severely disgusting, and don't do that, like, generally. But anyways, I got really disgusted that basically this girl was dating a pedophile, and well, one thing led to another. What ended up happening next was pretty wild, because I remember when we got to the theater and we actually sat in the movie theater, we started watching a superhero movie because, well, who doesn't love superhero movies? But I remember as we sat down in the theater and the movie started playing, I started to realize that this girl was one of those people that would go on their phones during the movie, and the whole time I'm just like curious of like who she's texting middle of a movie, because like it's super inappropriate. And the whole time as I like kept like kind of like glancing at her phone, because well, I don't know, if you're sitting beside someone that's on their phone, who isn't gonna glance over, especially when the bright light in a dark room in a theater is happening? And I remember as I looked over, I realized she was texting someone that was named roommate with a heart emoji. At that moment, I was so confused on why you would like your roommate so much, but at that moment I started to realize that maybe when this girl entered college that she cared about deeply. I don't really know what I was getting at there, but honestly, we ended up watching the entire movie and it was a good movie. And then afterwards, I remember me and her, we started walking towards my car, and she said to me, oh, so like, what do you want to do now? I mean, I could drop you home if you want. Yeah, that'll be cool. Do you want to come over? At that moment when she was inviting me over, obviously I said yes, because any girl that invites you over after to her place means that you're basically in. So I remember I ended up driving straight back to hers, and I was actually kind of speeding from excitement, obviously. And when I parked the car in front of her building, I remember she ends up going on her phone and calling someone. And when they picked up, she went, hey, so like, I'm having a friend over, so like, you don't mind, right? And as I was just sitting there like waiting for like her roommate to respond, I ended up hearing a guy's voice going, oh yeah, no, I don't have an issue with it, babe, don't worry about it. And at that moment, I kind of just froze in my seat, because like, who calls the roommate babe? Like, what? I don't really know, but honestly, at that moment when she hung up the phone, she looks over at me and says, okay, come on, let's go. Inside is what I said. Yeah. Why wouldn't we go inside? Well, like, you know, like your roommate's there and I don't want to like, you know, make things awkward. Oh, it won't be awkward. Don't worry. I do this all the time. Really? Is what I said to her. And at that moment, she was kind of embarrassed that she said that, but then we ended up just getting out of the car and I ended up going inside her building. When I went inside, I remember we ended up going to her apartment, and when she unlocked the door, I ended up walking inside and me and her went straight to her bedroom. We sat down. She had a TV in her room, so we ended up watching another movie and we started basically like, you know, cuddling on the bed until out of nowhere, I ended up hearing a guy enter into the apartment saying, "Hey babe, I'm home by the way. I know you have friends over, so I won't bug you guys." I ended up looking at the girl right away, and this girl ends up covering my mouth and saying out loud, "Okay babe, yeah, we're just watching a movie, so like don't disturb us." "Okay honey, whatever you say." And that's when I look at this girl and say, "You have a boyfriend?" No, he's not my boyfriend. He's my ex, but like we live together." What? So at that moment, I was really puzzled and confused on what in the world was going on. So right as I was thinking about an escape plan, this girl ends up having other plans, and me and her end up doing the Devil's Tango. It was the most silent Devil's Tango I've ever had in my entire life, which to be fair, is kind of crazy. Afterwards, I remember from there, me and this girl, we end up basically finishing up, and this girl has to go to the bathroom. So I'm kind of just like standing there, and right as this girl opens the door, I end up hiding myself under her blanket. I was super like scared and embarrassed, and then that's when I ended up seeing that her boyfriend, or I guess her ex, that's also a roommate, ends up going into the bathroom with her saying, "Hey babe, can I join you in there?" Right as he heard the shower turn on. At that moment, when I ended up realizing that they were both going to take a shower together, that's when I decided to get the hell out of there. And I remember I ended up getting all my clothes, putting all my clothes on, and I literally sprinted out of that apartment. I even remember hearing the guy going, "Wait, what? Who just left?" Right as I closed the apartment door, and I sprinted out of there so quick, got in my car, and drove straight home. At that moment, I remember as I was driving home, I ended up getting a text message from the girl that I took to the movies. And she ends up texting me saying, "Oh, like, honestly, Bubba, like, it was super nice having you over. Honestly, like, I gotta understand it's really confusing and stuff." And that's when I told this girl, honestly, I feel like you either cheated on your boyfriend or you're just straight up psychotic. Like, who lives with their ex? And yeah, she ended up blocking me because, well, it was pretty clear that I was way more mature than her, and this girl definitely had some special needs that were not just my eggplant. Now, back when I was in high school, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I had a lot of sneaky links. And if you guys don't know what a sneaky link is, basically it's someone that literally comes over to your place whenever you're in the mood to go do the Devil's Tango, or just in general, just doing the Devil's Tango with that person is who a sneaky link is. You know, there's usually no emotions, nothing really attached there. But I remember this one specific time, my sneaky link literally got exposed by my ex-girlfriend's friend group, and this was absolutely insane. And trust me, you guys don't want to miss this story out, so make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already for more crazy stories. And on top of that, make sure you guys join on the Discord server and join the Twitch streams. Usually I tell stories on there and come hang out on there, so seriously, it's worth it. Links are all down below if you guys want to join in and talk to me. But other than that, let's get straight into this. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So this story, like I said, starts off back in high school. Back in high school, I had a ton of sneaky links. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you guys know me for literally doing the Devil's Tango all the time. But in this one circumstance, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is when literally one of my sneaky links got exposed. And it wasn't just a normal exposed kind of thing. It was like an exposed, like, oh gosh, like this person really did the research on me and her to make sure that she got clowned on. And to this day, she's actually funny enough clowned on. So honestly, yeah, that's tough. Anyways, back in high school, I remember there was this girl that I used to be really, let's just say, good friends with in a sense. In reality, she was just a chick I found on, I think, a dating app if I was close to anything, and she went to some prep school. If you guys don't know what a prep school is, basically it's like this like really like good goody two-shoe school where it's like a religious school and like they wore skirts and stuff. I don't know. I found uniforms hot, so when she told me she went to one of those kind of schools, it's kind of a W, but at the same time, I don't know. These girls can get pretty freaky once in a while. Anyways, over time, me and her started talking, and funny enough, long story short, we ended up becoming basically sneaky links. And me and her being a sneaky link was fine for like the first couple months of it. Like, me and her would meet up at the mall and do it. We'd meet up basically anywhere we could and literally just go do the Devil's Tango. But obviously, as people may know, things come and go in life. This is a common thing that everyone needs to realize when you're in high school or just growing up in general. And let's just say me and her, we just didn't really see it happening anymore. To be honest, she wanted to go into a relationship and so did I. So I remember me and her kind of like sorta called things off. The reason I'm saying sorta is because me and her like still talked and stuff. And like obviously, you know, she still wanted to do the Devil's Tango sometimes. But me, I gonna be honest, at the time I was talking to someone that I actually really genuinely cared about. And let's just say I was willing to sacrifice my sneaky links. I know that's kind of rare for me to say because, you know, basically this whole channel is about me doing the Devil's Tango. But love is real, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, I guess, you know, I kind of did fall in love at this time with another person. You guys will figure that out in another story time. But going on, months passed later on, and I remember I was basically dating the girl that I did fall in love with at the time. And me and her, we'd always go out and stuff. And I remember one time my ex-girlfriend told me, hey, like, you want to like come visit my school? Like, me and all my friends are like meeting up and stuff. And I said, sure. And funny enough, the school that she actually went to was a prep school, or AKA the religious, super uniform hot girl school. I don't know. I guess I have a thing for girls in uniforms or Catholic schools. I don't know. It was just weird in general. But I remember me and her basically met up at lunchtime, and we ended up going to hang out with her friends. And when we did, I remember seeing my previous sneaky link that I used to talk to all the time literally there. She was literally sitting there and kind of just being alone at the time. I guess whatever relationship she was trying to go into didn't work out, or let's just say had issues. I don't know. To be honest, I didn't really care because, like I said, I moved on and I became happy. Can I say happy if she's an ex-girlfriend? I don't know. I became better without her, I guess I should say. But going on, I remember we were all sitting at that table group and basically just talking about life and stuff, and me cuddling up with my ex-girlfriend at the time and seeing her, or literally across the table, just, you know, being there. I don't know. It's kind of awkward sitting in a table group full of people that you basically did the devil's tango with. But to be honest, that wasn't even the end of it. I remember during that table group, as we were sitting there, like I was saying earlier, there was like a lot of weird tension between me and my old sneaky link that was there. And it wasn't like anything like severe, but you could just tell something was off when me and her did any sort of eye contact or anything. And it was kind of obvious to everyone else on that table, to be honest. But before we continue on with the story of what went on and how basically my sneaky link got exposed, just one thing you guys should know. There was a blonde-haired girl that was, let's just say, very smart in a sense, but at the same time, very driven by exposing people. Like, I'm not joking. We could literally picture her as like the Keemstar of literally that table group. If she had to expose someone and literally get the truth out of someone, she will do it. And she doesn't care what, you know, you have to say. Funny enough, me and her are good friends to this day now, but long story short, let's just say if she wanted to expose someone, she will. Like, for God's sake, she literally has a full send flag on her wall at home. Like, if that's not saying enough about a chick, then I don't know what is. But going on, this blonde-haired chick actually ended up sensing the weird tension between me and my old sneaky link. She started getting that sense and started kind of being like, what's going on here? This is weird. And let's just say after that whole lunch period thing that they had at school that time, I remember I left, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt really off. Something did feel off, but I just kind of went home, went play video games, and did the same old as usual. But now this is where things get actually really, really intense. And by intense, I mean I got a text message on my phone that exact night, and it was literally the blonde girl that literally was exposing people left and right. And let's just say she had a target on my old sneaky link. Now, usually I'm smart with sneaky links, but honestly, when it came to this girl, I didn't really know at the time what I was going up against. But to be honest, since it was all previous news and stuff, and she was friends with my ex-girlfriend at the time, I think. And long story short, I just told her the goddamn truth, like, oh yeah, like, you know, she was my old sneaky link, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, nothing of it. And that wasn't the end. Apparently, she got some more information off other people. And when I say she went FBI mode, she literally went FBI mode. Like, the only FBI mode I go on is female body inspecting, but this was a different level. Like, she was like the CIA of that table group. And when I found out that she was doing research, oh boy, was I not able to sleep that night. Like, I was literally shiver me timbers. Like, I don't know if I can even use that word in this scenario, but literally I was shivering in my boots, or in reality in my bed that night. But it doesn't matter. Going on, I remember the next day, my ex-girlfriend at the time also invited me for lunch again. And you know, this was like, I guess, becoming a common thing since the first one went so well, apparently. In her head, I don't know, she was kind of, how do I put this, like lightheaded. Yeah, sure, let's just say the pick-me girl was lightheaded, okay? And we're gonna call the pick-me girl my ex-girlfriend for the rest of the story. Anyways, my ex-girlfriend invited me out to hang out with lunch with them again, so I did, and I went down there, and obviously we had lunch and we sat down. But the one thing I noticed was that the blonde-haired girl wasn't there. She wasn't there. My sneaky link was there, but she wasn't. Now, this is where things got me worried, because I was like, where did she go? Is she not friends with us anymore? And as I was thinking these things, I'm not even joking when I say this, the blonde-haired girl came down the street from where we were sitting with a file in her hand, like she was gonna drop a lawsuit on someone. Came up to this table and said, you are literally about to get exposed. She dropped a folder on the table like it was a damn eviction notice, and straight up opened it and just saw a bunch of receipts of text messages from back then. It was messages from me, my old sneaky link, and apparently other guys and stuff. And little did I realize she had a boyfriend. happened. When I was doing things with her, when others were as well, when she was talking to a bunch of people, apparently my previous sneaky link was doing the devil's tango with me when she had another guy. And to be honest, the other guy was actually, funny enough, one of my friends at the time. But you know what? He doesn't need to know that. Or actually, he does technically now, since this is a story from back then. But it doesn't matter. Going on. So when she got exposed, she went off everything. She started saying the dates. She started saying the times, and everything lined up perfectly. Like, I'm not joking. If she was a lawyer, I would actually want to hire her. Like, honestly, good job to you. But when I looked over at my sneaky link, I'm not even joking. She looked like she was gonna burst into tears. Like, I'm not joking when I say this. I've never seen a girl more exposed than, like, ever. Actually, I've never seen a girl more exposed. Like, this was actually so bad. And obviously, me having my girlfriend at the time literally sitting beside me didn't help at all, because let's just say she ended up looking at me saying, "It was your sneaky link?" And yeah, things did not really go well. It seems like this blonde-haired girl just did all the research she needed, literally slapped everything down on the table, and made my sneaky link from back then cry. And by cry, I mean literally she started crying, she bursted into tears, and let's just say she ended up standing up and running away. She literally ran away from that table group, and let's just say we never heard from her again. No, obviously at first, I'm not gonna lie, most of us were thinking, oh, like we should go talk to her, like we feel bad. And like me in my head, I'm thinking like, do I really want to go talk to my previous sneaky link when my little girlfriend at the time is literally right here beside me? I don't know. It was a lot to process at the time. But the more I think about it, god damn, she did a lot of dumb stuff in the past. Like, I know I did dumb stuff in the past too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm literally known for doing the devil's tango. But at the same time, when it comes to this, just be careful what you do. You know, if you're gonna have sneaky links, at least be quiet about them and keep it low key. Don't go off, you know, telling everyone. And bad enough, I had to talk to my old sneaky link's boyfriend at the time, kind of just addressing the situation, since I did say earlier he was my friend. But long story short, if you're trying to keep a secret, make sure you actually keep it a secret, or one day it's just gonna become a YouTube video, or a literal lawsuit, or literally just getting exposed. I remember my girlfriend said she was busy with another friend, and I thought she was just hanging out with one of her girlfriends that she always kept texting every time we were on a date. But the time when I actually followed her and I turned the hallway corner and I saw she was with another dude, I was about to walk up to her and confront her until I saw them making out. At this moment, I realized my girlfriend lied to me. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another really sad, but I gotta say, embarrassing story. Now, this story all takes place back in my grade 9 year. And in grade 9, I was a pretty simple guy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I really was just getting into my stages of becoming a player, but I was more of a hopeless romantic. So anytime I thought I had a shot with a girl, I would see myself as like the main character of a movie and kind of just think, you know what? Like, what's the best way for me to, like, you know, pull this girl in? And I remember one time my grade 9 year, I was walking down the school hallway, and out of nowhere, I ended up actually bumping into this one girl. Now, this one girl I actually bumped into, she was talked about a lot throughout the high school, and she was actually known as being one of the more pretty girls in school that, let's just say, I never thought I would have a shot with. But I remember when me and her bumped into each other, I actually ended up dropping my backpack as she ended up dropping some papers on the floor for her biology class, I guess she had. So as I'm helping her pick up all these papers, I remember she looks at me and says, "Oh, wait, you're Bubba, right?" Yeah, hi, nice to meet you. Wait, aren't you the kid that sits in the back of language arts class? Yeah, we have a class together. It's good to meet you finally. I gotta head to science. I'll talk to you later. And when she got up and walked away, at that moment, I'm not gonna lie, I was in love. I know that sounds really insane from just me bumping into a chick, but you gotta understand, like I said earlier, I was a helpless romantic. So me, I saw this as some sort of sign from God that this girl might be the one. And in my mind, as I was walking away from her, I thought to myself, wait, she said talk to me later. When's later? Is that like, you know, tomorrow? The day after? A week after? When's later? As the school day went on, I remember language arts came around, and I ended up walking to my language arts classroom, and instantly I ended up seeing her sitting in the front of the classroom. And as I was walking by to basically go sit in my seat that's in the back, she looks at me straight in my eyes as I was walking by and says, "Oh, Bubba, you don't have to sit back there. You want to sit beside me?" Yeah, cool, sure. And I remember when that was said, my friend that would sit in the back of class with me looks at me as if I was just like the most W guy ever. Like, he was like majorly proud of me for basically getting out of my shell, I guess, and being able to pull girls, which, to be fair, later on as years went by, he realized I was just a major player and it was gross. But going on, at this moment, he was really proud of me. And I remember I sat beside the girl that I ended up bumping into. Me and her, we sat together, we started talking, and one thing led to another. I'm not gonna lie, she ended up asking me out. It wasn't even me asking her out. She asked me out and said, "Hey, yeah, so Bubba, what are you doing after school today?" today? Nothing. I'm just hanging out. Why? What's up? Well, do you want to like maybe like, I don't know, go get some food together? Like you seem like a really cool guy. Yeah, I'm down. Sure. I am not joking when I say this. I was the most happiest kid that day. Like this felt better than Christmas, my birthday, Valentine's Day, when you actually get a lover. Like it felt really, really good. I even remember when the bell rang, I ended up walking out of the classroom and kind of did like a fist going, yes, cheering my victory. But let's just say things get a lot worse from there, because I remember after school that day, me and her, we ended up going on a date and everything went well. But I'm not gonna lie, every time I would like try to talk to her or have a conversation with her, she was always on her phone messaging another person. Now this moment I got a little off and I'm like, okay, like who is she texting? Like why is this girl texting someone else in the middle of our date? Usually during a date, I don't like have my phone out at all. If anything, sometimes I fully shut it off or put it on do not disturb just because I want to, you know, actually get to know the person that I'm with and basically stay off technology since it's literally consumed our lives. But I remember during the date, it got to the point where I looked at her and said, so who are you texting right now? Oh, I'm just texting one of my girls. She's just going through a midlife crisis, so I just have to deal with it. You have to deal with it? Well, yeah, I'm always there for my friends for whatever they need. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's good. You're being a good friend. Yeah, like you gotta understand, like when it comes to friends, I'm always there for them and I would never lie to them. Huh. Okay, cool. Now this moment, I thought this was like a really good green flag, but then later on in the story, you'll see why things got a lot worse. Because I remember when I got home that day after the date, I remember I ended up hopping on my Xbox and started playing games with the boys. I ended up hopping into an Xbox Live party chat and all of us started talking about our day and stuff. And I ended up mentioning my date that I had with this girl. At the moment, all my friends were like, wait, you went on a date, bro? Wait, how'd it go? What happened? Oh, you know, just me and her. We went out to get some food. It was pretty good, but she was always on her phone. I don't know why. At that moment, I remember one of the guys in the Xbox party chat ended up saying something that made me really think, but he ended up saying, wait, what do you mean she was always on her phone? What was she doing? Oh, I don't know. She was just texting one of her friends, I guess. Wait, Bubba, what was this girl's name? When I said the name of the girl, I remember my friend, he ended up screaming into the mic going, oh, wait a second. Bro, Bubba, don't go out with her. Don't do it. What? Why? Bro, you do understand. She's like a massive player, right? What do you mean a massive player? Bubba, you know like how many dudes she talks to, bro? Like she talks to a lot of dudes, bro. She was not talking to one of the girlfriends. I don't know, bro. She told me it was one of the girlfriends, and to be honest, she doesn't seem like someone that would lie. Bubba, I don't think you know what you're talking about, bro. Trust me, bro. You don't want to date this girl. At that moment, I remember I ended up turning off my Xbox because I just got really annoyed and pretty pissed off because I thought, you know, why would this girl want to hurt me? She didn't seem like someone that would lie to me. She even said herself she's not a liar. Until the next day at school, I realized she was lying. And what ended up happening next really actually just made me realize that all girls are the same and that Juice WRLD was right. I remember the next day at school, in the morning, I ended up entering the school hallway and I saw her at her locker. So what I decided to do is walk up to her and say, hey, I had a really good date yesterday. Do you want to like maybe hang out at lunch? Oh, I mean, yeah, we can. I just have to deal with one of my girlfriends, you know, like the one's having a midlife crisis. I just have to go see her real quick. And then afterwards, I'll meet up with you. Is that cool? Yeah, sure. I don't mind. So I ended up walking away from her. And at that moment, I had a weird feeling in my stomach. You know that feeling in your stomach where you feel like something's about to go wrong and something's just not right? That's the exact feeling I had. And I didn't want to think too much of it. But at the same time, as a helpless romantic, I always end up doing the most dumbest things I could think of. Let's be real here. Hell, that's what this channel is fully for. Just all the dumb things I've done. But this one thing I ended up doing made me feel really interesting. Because I remember when lunch came around and I was waiting for her by the cafeteria, I ended up basically standing there just kind of waiting for her. And I want to say 10 minutes went by and one of my friends ended up walking up to me. He walked up to me saying, yo, Bubba, what are you doing, bro? All the guys are waiting at the table. Yeah, I know. I'm just waiting for my date. You have a date at lunchtime? Yeah, with the girl I told you guys about yesterday on Xbox. Wait, Bubba, are you sure like she's gonna actually show up? Because I saw her talking to some dude down the hallway not that long ago. And trust me when I say this, bro, they didn't look like they were just talking as friends. At that moment, I got worried and I decided to basically go to the hallway he talked about. And right as I turned into the hallway, I saw her there sitting with some dude. So I thought, okay, maybe this was like, you know, an inconvenience, you know? So I ended up texting her on her phone while I was directly staring at her saying, hey, like, I'm waiting by the cafeteria. When are you gonna show up? Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm just talking to one of my girlfriends right now. He's just going through a lot. Just give me a second. And then I ended up looking at her and I saw that she was lying to me. And right as I was about to go up to her and confront her that she was lying to me, out of nowhere, this dude and her just start making out right in front of me. I remember I froze in place, not knowing what in the world was going on. I was confused. I was really hurt. I was honestly really upset. And right as they stopped kissing, I remember this girl ends up looking down the hallway and she saw me at the end of the hallway basically staring at her. She knew she messed up. Me and her, we ended up locking eyes for like a good like 5 seconds. And at that moment, I just ended up walking walking away. I walked away, I ran straight to the bathroom, and I just sat in the bathroom stall knowing that she lied to me. And to be honest, me in grade 9, like I said, I was a helpless romantic, so seeing that really just hurt. But at the same time, I don't know. In a way, I guess she was just part of my origin story for becoming the biggest player at school. But at the same time, though, if girls ever lied to you, then just fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.